Alex Bregman to the Cubs is starting to pick up some steam. And when you have current players on the roster commenting about it, that tells me that this is serious. And I think that's a good thing for the Cubs. We'll talk about what Ian Happ had to say about Bregman. Robert Suarez signed with the Braves, so that marks off another back-end super reliever that the Cubs won't sign. And former Cub Christopher Morel lands with the Marlins. All that right here on the Cubs Baseball channel, brought to you by AveD. Hit that QR code, be part of what we're doing. Win swag, win prizes, including cash. We got a big one for you guys today. So let's get into all that right here on the Cubs Baseball. Hey, everybody, Mick Nation, Cubs Baseball channel. Good to see you guys today as we talk about the Cubs. Now, I thought this one was, at first I was like, I don't know how I'm going to bring this up, right? Ian Happ has his own podcast. Sometimes they play it on marquee. I think it's a good thing to have Cubs podcasts on marquee. It's supposed to be the Cubs network. They need more guys like Happ stepping up and providing content. I mean, you sign these huge multi-year contracts. Part of that should be to contribute to the TV channel because it eventually will contribute back to you. And he's doing that with his show, The Compound. And on that show, they talked about Alex Bregman. And, of course, Alex Bregman, free agent third baseman. Cubs lost out to the Red Sox getting him last year. You remember him as a World Series champion with the Houston Astros. He was a great college player at LSU. This is a guy who would really fit the Cubs team well. And Happ said that. And it's surprising because a lot of times free agents that you might not get, people aren't talking about. But he did. And he basically said Bregman and his ability to hit right-handed makes the Cubs lineup a lot better. And I could not agree anymore. I think he's nailed it, right? And he's like, and then he starts talking about the direction of the Cubs and the young players that the Cubs have. And that they're very left-handed heavy, right? Michael Busch is a lefty. Pete Crow Armstrong's a lefty. Moises Ballesteros is going to be on this team for a while. He's a lefty. Owen Casey's a lefty. He gives you a little bit more balance. And the Cubs could use a right-handed stick. And maybe that's why the Cubs were interested in a Pete Alonso, who's a Mr. Home Run Derby, who eventually signed with Baltimore, right? But the bottom line is this. It's not that he said that because I think that's Captain Obvious. It's the fact that he's talking about it. Because if he didn't think there was a chance the Cubs might get Bregman, he wouldn't be talking about it. And you keep hearing the Cubs and the Bregman rumors. You know the Red Sox are in this. Maybe the Tigers are in this. You know, who knows? Maybe there's some other teams in there. But this is the one area where the Cubs could use some help. Then all of a sudden you can use Matt Shaw as your utility guy. And he'd be a heck of a utility guy as he grows into being a good to great everyday big leaguer. So I thought that was worth bringing up on the show. And I think you guys kind of get, you know, what exactly what I'm saying here. I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but remember when they were like, you know, in the mix to get Cody Bellinger, and Dansby Swanson started talking about it, and I'm like, man, I don't know if it's a good idea to comment on contracts, especially when you're trying to negotiate money. But you know what? It kind of telescoped the fact that was what was going to happen, and eventually he came back to the Cubs. And you know, he came back, and we traded him with $5 million to the Yankees, and now he's a free agent. We'll find out where he goes, right? Now, before we talk about a couple other things. You guys like money. We like giving money away. And at Mick Nation, AveD, if you watch college football, we got a great one for you. Hit that QR code, get in there, and you can win $250 a quarter betting on next Friday's Alabama-Oklahoma game. How cool is that, right? Get the score right each quarter. It's like playing those squares, you know? So anyway, we're doing that. We're going to have fun here on this channel. We got swag to give away as well. There's no baseball games for a while. So let's look at the college football playoff. and the NFL, and we'll throw some stuff out there for you guys to hit. But it's free. It's fun. QR code, AveD Mick Nation, and we're pretty fired up about it. Now, this one to me was, kind of surprising. I mean, Atlanta signed Robert Suarez. And Suarez, we talked about him on this channel. Phillies closer, more saves than anybody over the last 2 years. He's been great. Phillies are going to have a tough time. Padres, not Phillies. Padres are going to have a tough time replacing this dude. He's that good, and he's significantly better than maybe what the Phillies had. And when you look at Philadelphia, that they are doing what every other team wants to do in baseball, and that's trying to solidify the back end of the bullpen. So the Cubs went out, they made a deal, they signed a left-handed side armor in Milner. I think he's going to be someone that can help the Cubs. But Suarez is like here. Like, he's elite level in his prime, and he's going to Atlanta. So Atlanta made that deal. Take him off the table. So now the list of top-end closers is starting to get smaller, right? Edwin Diaz goes to the Dodgers. Robert Suarez to the Braves. Are the Cubs going to get in this mix? It's a question. How long until Brad Keller signs? How much money are the Cubs willing to spend on a reliever? They don't want to get stuck in one of these big contracts and have the same situation they had with Eli Morgan last year, where the guy gets hurt and we never even see him pitch. So that's, I think, the knock on signing someone like a back-end bullpen guy, high leverage arm, but you can't win without him. And that's the other part of this. And Craig Counsell mentioned the other day, he's like, hey, one of the things that what had it, I don't remember exactly how I put it, but he was like, we were surprised with the guys we thought were going to help us in the bullpen didn't help us, right? Presley, you make a deal to get him from Houston, straight down the toilet. Morgan, hurt, you expected those two guys to be there and significant contributors to the bullpen, and they weren't. It was Palencia, who I've always, and you guys have watched this for long enough to know, I've said he's got closer stuff for a long time. He does. Still just trying to figure out how to be more consistent, but there was times last year where he was as good as anyone. The Cubs are going to have to do that to win the World Series. Now, the last thing I wanted to get in on today's show is Christopher Morel lands. Somebody put an S on the end of that. Not land, but lands. Let's see it again. Throw it up there. Hey, there it is. Christopher Morel lands with the Marlins. Cubs system, got to the big leagues, ton of power, just doesn't have the refined game that it takes to be a star right now in the major leagues. But you look at him, he's got all the ingredients, but just got to go out there and do it. And some of it's technique. He just never looked at third base like a guy that I felt like was going to be able to kind of step into that position and be good at it, because his technique was bad. His feet were off. His arm was off. And he swings at a lot of pitches. And, so then anyway, the Cubs trade him, gets released by Tampa Bay. Now he's with the Marlins. So hopefully he's a really good guy. You guys know that. We used to call him the hugger. So you go around and hug everybody, like bro everybody up. Your team, other team, managers, coaches. He just hugs everybody. He really shows up every day with the right attitude. And I hope that he figures it out while he's playing now with the Marlins and as a contributor on the big league team. All right, last thing I wanted to get into was MLB is going to test a new hitter timeout rule in the minor leagues. This is one where you don't get a timeout. So I guess we should say no timeout rule. Now, Major League Baseball is going to implement this appeal thing, right? Where it's like, if you don't think it's a strike, you can appeal it, and you get a certain number of those. And if you get 3 of them wrong, you don't have them anymore. And if you get them right, you get to keep going, I think. And I think this is just a way to kind of counterbalance that. So in the low levels of the minor leagues, they're taking the timeout away. And what normally hitters, they're all allotted a timeout. They take it, it's a 3-2 count time, they want to keep speeding the game up. They're worried about They're worried about the new rule with the timeouts slowing the game down. So they're just going to test it to see if this will speed things up. And we'll see. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging here on the Cubs Baseball channel. No matter where I'm at, I'm coming at you with a show every day. Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Get in the comments section. And do AveD, man. Take advantage of this promo. It's not even a promo. It's just fun. College football playoff. Chance to watch a game on a Friday night and, and win a little money. And also give some swag away. But make sure you're a subscriber to the Cubs Baseball channel. Thank you, guys. And we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Go Cubs.